What's up, YouTube? If you're new here, my name is J.R. Smith. I'm a first-year medical student at the Mayo Clinic, and if you saw my video last week, you may have seen what a first week of medical school looks like. Well, that was just the orientation to medical school, but today we actually have our first days of lecture. So it kind of feels like I'm really starting medical school today. So this is kind of the first real day of medical school, which is super exciting. We start with biochemistry and histology for our first blocks, and our professors gave us a few materials just to review in advance if we wanted to kind of pre-study or anything like that, and I did review most of those materials. It's about 7:30. My first lecture starts in about an hour. I'm gonna take a shower really quick and get ready. I already got a little bit of my caffeine in me. I'm gonna bring you guys kind of through an outline of what the day is gonna look like, and if anything interesting happens, don't worry, because I'll show you guys. But I'm gonna get in the shower, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Whew, all right, this is a little better. And also, I know last week I wasn't wearing pants. I haven't put pants on today. All right, so this is how I'm gonna have my setup, I think, during lecture. I have my computer here, which will, as you can see, allow me to be present during the virtual classroom. And then I have my iPad. I'm using an app called Notability to take notes. I'll probably go into this in more depth in a future video, but I already have my slides up for the class. And, you know, I'm able to use my pencil to circle things as they're important. And, you know, if I wanna highlight stuff, etc. So as we go through the presentation, I'll be able to kind of annotate as we go, and I already have, you know, all of this down, and I've actually already annotated. I've gone through it already as I pre-studied, so I kind of annotated already. But as the professor explains things that are important, I will continue to highlight and go through this. So I think this is going to be a pretty good setup for the first day. And of course, we live and learn and we adjust as we need to. But I'm going to get ready for class, guys. Peace.
It's important to keep track of the histones, how they're made, and basically what is an activator modifier on a histone and what normally is a repressor.
So we just finished the kind of introduction into this course, going over the syllabus and, you know, again, introducing ourselves to each other, but also to our professors. And as you saw, he briefly went through some of the slides that we're responsible for going over afterwards. And in a few minutes, we're going to join a small group classroom where we'll go through a few activities. But I thought this would be a good opportunity to take you through kind of what my schedule looks like now that I have a better understanding of it. So as you can see here, Monday, July 20th, this is where we're starting. And so from 8 to 12, it's really 8:30, as you can see here for this introduction, down to about 11 is where we are focused on biochemistry and genetics. And so that continues for the rest of the week. You'll also see certain things like this on Tuesday, tomorrow, we actually have a patient visit. And that's one thing that I really appreciated from Mayo, is that they get us interacting with patients very early. And even though it's virtual, you know, which isn't as nice as it would be in person, but it's nice that we're actually going to be able to have a patient encounter, be able to experience a patient who has a specific disorder that we may be studying, and I think that will just help me kind of internalize that information a little more. And then on Wednesday, you see that we have our student presentations. The first one on Leash-9 syndrome, and that is my group. So I am in that first group of presentations. There's another one on Friday. But on Wednesday, I'll be presenting with my group, and today we are actually going through as a group to just go over the presentation, make sure that we're fully prepared. We've all already covered the topics that we need to and jotted down all the information now that we have and that we need to in preparation for this presentation. But we're just gonna meet to make sure that in terms of how we're going to be presenting is all lined up. And then in the afternoon, you'll see that we have histology from 1 to 5. So I haven't had my histology course yet. That'll be this afternoon, so I'll find out a little bit more information about that. But it's unique that they're doing it this way because usually they alternate the day. So it would be biochemistry on one day, histology on the next day, and continue. And the reason why we're having to cram it together is because of the, just with COVID and things like that, the schedule has been altered to kind of give us 2 orientation weeks because we have an additional one in person in late August. And so because of that, we've condensed our first block. So it's a little faster than what it normally would be, but I think that'll be okay. And you can see also next week, we have our first biochem exam here on Wednesday. So that's gonna be interesting. The exam format for most medical schools will follow kind of a multiple choice exam format, and the NBME exam, which is kind of just the National Board of Medical Examiners. They kind of have an exam. It's similar to kind of the shelf exams and things like that. It's just the exam board, and we take exams through them, but we also take an additional part just through the school. So things that they don't feel the NBME exam covers in enough thoroughness, they have an additional component of an exam that we take as well. So that will be on Wednesday. Again, more virtual patient encounters as well as presentations next week. And you can also see that next week in the morning we start with histology, and then we go into biochemistry in the afternoon, evening. And then week 3 we actually start basic doctoring, which I'm extremely excited about. I'm interested to see how it's going to work with the virtual aspect of it, but week 4 we're finished. So that's block 1. I'm about to join my group meeting here, so I gotta go, but I will keep you guys updated. Peace. All right, now that I got some food in me, I'm just hanging out outside. Blaze is still hanging out with me. So Madison went up to Duluth, Minnesota for the first few days of this week to kind of hang out with her best friend who's up there. It was her birthday, and she is spending some time up there. So I'm gonna FaceTime Madison, see what she's talking about, see how she's doing. I'm sure she's excited to know how everything's going with me too. But taking some time to just enjoy being outside is definitely, for me, making the most of this break between my lectures. So let's see what Madison's up to, see if she answers.
Hey, honey.
Hey, honey. So Madison's doing well. I probably will head back inside since I have a button up on. But I did need some sun on my skin. I don't really know what to do with myself when my wife isn't in the home. I really don't know what to do with myself. He doesn't either. I'll figure it out. Find something to do. Have about an hour or so until histology. Then I'm done for the day, but then we got to repeat it all again tomorrow. And then the next day, and the next day. All right, guys, so as you can see, got my do-rag back on, and I'm officially done with my first official day of medical school, including lectures and stuff like that, since last week was just orientation. I am pretty exhausted. So as you saw from my calendar, we were basically in lecture from about 8:30 to 5. And then since I'm presenting on Wednesday, my group had a Zoom call for about an hour after lecture to kind of go over the presentation, make sure that we were ready to do that. And now I have about 4 or so hours of studying. And so this is a pretty exhausting and pretty flooded day 1. But when I reflect on just how grateful I am to be in this position and how honored I am to be a medical student just to begin with, that kind of gives me the energy and motivation to, just keep working and keep grinding, because this is an amazing opportunity I'm given. And of course it involves me working hard like anything else important and great does. But I think focusing on that is going to prevent any form of exhaustion, overload, or anything like that. There are some things that I have realized that are added difficulties and challenges to starting medical school, or just in terms of being a student during this time and during kind of the forced virtual learning, outside of just having to sit at a desk and look at a computer screen for 8 hours or whatever, because there's challenges associated with that by itself. But I think the biggest hurdle associated with virtual learning that I have learned is the challenge of communication. I have now come to value how when you're in an in-person situation and you can just simply raise your hand to ask a question, or the professor can draw something out on a whiteboard or on a slide or something, and kind of, just that in-person interaction really enhances the communication between the professor and the student. And basically what learning is a translation of communication between the teacher and the student. And there are just natural challenges with trying to accomplish that online. So that's one thing that I have come to kind of realize more. But given that we have unique opportunities to explore other methods of learning, other resources that are out there, and hopefully that will be able to address anything that the virtual learning environment may take away. So as you guys can tell, you guys know me, I am a very optimistic person. I like to look at the bright side and try to stay positive when I can. Again, today was exhausting, but today was good. And the one thing that I do want to say is, even though the material is seemingly over-flooding, and the acronym of it coming at you like a fire hydrant is accurate, the fact that now I am learning something that I really enjoy and something that I see applicable to what I want to do in the future, it overshadows any of the challenges. And the fact that when I have to go to study, it's something that I'm going to enjoy studying, and when I have to go to study for a few hours, it's not a have to go to study. It's I get to learn about material that is pertinent to my career path, pertinent to me becoming a competent and well-rounded physician. I get to learn how to navigate certain challenges. Just being able to navigate this learning experience is going to make me a better student. It's going to make me hopefully even a better physician. And so just being able to kind of look at it from that perspective, I think is important for everyone who is a student right now, whether you're in medical school, undergrad, any form of professional education, anything like that, and you're having to kind of navigate this virtual learning environment. We get to learn, we get to be in this situation. The faculty and staffs at our respective institutions are doing everything they can to navigate this difficult time as well. And they're giving us the opportunity to continue to learn, given very difficult circumstances to do so. So I think I'm going to hold on to that, and I think that's what's going to continue to drive my motivation to keep pushing and keep working. But I'm about to get going on studying and finishing up some of the work that I need to do in preparation for tomorrow. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. That's always greatly appreciated. Thank you for coming along my first day of medical school with me. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, tap that bell, new videos every week. You're not going to want to miss a step in this journey. But until the next one, keep evolving, and I'll see you guys soon.